This week on Track Talk, we've got tin-top action from Dubai Autodrome, two-wheeled excitement from the UAE SPORTBIKES, radical racing from MARINA, plus endurance karting from Dubai KARTING. All this and much more coming in the next 60 minutes. Hello and welcome to Track Talk, the Middle East's only motorsports magazine show brought to you by the Dubai Autodrome. The racing season is once again underway in the region and promises to deliver an action-packed calendar of events. Top of the list is UAE National Race Day Series, now in its 6th season, from which we'll have all the action from the NGK Racing Series and the UAE SPORTBIKES. We'll also be following the Radical Winter Cup Series, plus one of the region's fastest-growing forms of grassroots racing, the DAMC Karting Series. If it isn't featured here, it isn't worth watching. We begin with news from the DAMC, where this year sees the welcome return of Japanese performance spark plug manufacturers NGK as the main sponsor for the newly formed NGK Racing Series. The series sees a range of mainly saloon cars plus a sprinkling of GTs going head-to-head in various classes, with everything from Renault Clios to Ferrari 458s.
I would like to thank Dubai Autodrome. They consider us as a main sponsor for, like you remember last year we was just sponsoring the GT, but this year they give us whole package and they call us NGK Racing Series for 2012 and 2013.
Another development this year is a new strategic partnership between the Dubai Autodrome and famous luxury watch brand TAG Heuer. The Swiss watchmaker has had over 100 years of involvement in motorsports and is keen to see that relationship continue here in the Middle East.
We are very interested in signing a partnership with Dubai Autodrome. Of course, it's matching very well our DNA because it's all about car. So as a marketing partnership, it's very good for our brand positioning, and it's also very good to pay back to Dubai our presence and our nice business here.
The deal is undoubtedly good news for motor racing in the region, with TAG lending its unique brand identity to the UAE's motor racing scene, while ensuring some significant promotional support.
TAG Heuer has a heritage of motorsport, and for them to join and come on board as one of our leading partners here is fantastic for the Autodrome, because it allows us to look at not only the international but the national levels, and for that partnership to do that just brings strength and other opportunities for us.
The association with motorsport in the region is not entirely new, with TAG having dipped their toes in the water with their ice karting events held each year at Dubai Mall. However, the partnership with Dubai Autodrome now takes the watchmaker's involvement to the next level and will hopefully help boost the profile of motorsports in the region. So, on to the racing action, and we start at the Dubai KARTING, which recently played host to round 3 of the 2012 Dubai KARTING Endurance Championship, sponsored by Mini. Coming into the race, it was the Bahraini team, BATELCO, who topped the pro rankings, closely followed by Dubai Falcon Racing and Timeless Events Racing. All of these teams were undoubtedly hoping to add the maximum number of points to their championship tally. Out on the track, and once again it was the favorites, BATELCO, who were battling it out at the head of the pack. Having clinched pole position for the team, Alban Baruti immediately took the lead after the Le Mans-style start. Just behind him were the 3 Racing for Belgium teams in hot pursuit. BATELCO led the race for the first few hours until penalties during the night saw them forced back into 6th position. But the early hours of the morning saw the team claw their way back to the front of one of the most competitive racing fields the KARTING has witnessed in recent years. With the Racing for Belgium teams dropping off the pace, BATELCO's main rivals on this occasion were the Dubai Falcons racing team, who took over the lead at one stage of the race. But they were passed again by a storming BATELCO team just before sunrise. And as the checkered flag dropped after an epic 567 laps, BATELCO had managed to stretch their lead to 32 seconds over the Dubai Falcons. giving the Bahrain-based team victory once again.
It was fairly straightforward, as it always is with BATELCO, and they're a fantastic team. They've got consistency, good drivers, and they stay out of trouble.
It was a fair result. Like BATELCO were pushing hard and we were pushing hard. It's racing at the end. We just had a bit of problems with our strategies.
And following the Dubai Falcons home in third place overall was another local team, the UAE Aeros. Not far behind professional teams and taking the win in the corporate category was Team CG Racing 2. Ahead of a great race from the NBC Action team and Team CG Racing 1, who crossed the line in third place.
We had two teams. We came in first and third position. Unfortunately for our team, one of the teams, we had a penalty, so we lost like around 5 minutes. But still, 1 and 3.
So a look at the championship standings after 3 rounds, and it's BATELCO who cement their position at the top, 12 points clear of Dubai Falcon Racing. Still in the hunt is the Timeless Events Racing Team and the UAE Aero Racing Team. Meanwhile, in the corporate rankings, the championship is still a 4-horse race, with CG Racing Teams 1 and 2 in the top spots, closely followed by NBC Action and Team Emirates.
We're just looking forward now to round 4 and hope to hit that 40 mark of 40 teams.
And with major points up for grabs for teams in both the professional and corporate categories, it's still all to play for. Next up, we're at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi for the first round of the 2012-2013 NGK UAE Racing Series. This season sees a shake-up of classes from last year, with the GT class cars now racing alongside a range of touring cars. Back on the race program again this year is the Renault CLIO Cup, which saw some familiar faces battling it out for qualifying position. Last year's champion, Alexandros Anavas, was on track again, competing in the Gulf Petrochem Clio, and no doubt hoping to keep his brother Konstantinos behind him in both races. Round 1 also saw Ramzi Moutran back in the red and white dual racing Clio, along with Willie Morrison in the new Viking Clio. And joining the Clios this year is a newcomer to the UAE racing scene, Leon Johnson.
When I came to Dubai last year, I did track days at the Autodrome and down here in Yas, and just progressed from there. Really met a few of the guys and found this car was for sale and bought the car 3 months ago, and here we are today for the first race, so looking forward to it.
Just ahead of the Clios in Class 2 was represented by Jonathan Milan in his Honda Integra, alongside Rupesh Chanaki in last year's class-winning Lap 57 Honda Civic. Meanwhile, Class 1 saw the 2 Seats of Nabil Moutran and Kostas Pampantonis out on track and vying to earn those vital early championship points. Also on the grid was the familiar Ferrari 458 GT car of Rob Barf and Leon Price, who were notching up some valuable track time ahead of the Dubai 24 Hours endurance race. So as race 1 got underway, it was the Ferrari that sped into the distance, leaving a real nose-to-tail battle at the head of the touring car field between the 2 Seats of Kostas Papantonis and Nabil Moutran. However, it was Papantonis who managed to capitalize on his pole position and led the race during the early stages. Behind him and Nabil Moutran continued to hound the Greek driver before eventually passing him mid-race, and from there he began to build a lead. Elsewhere, Rupesh Chanaki was getting to grips with his new car and starting to create a cushion between himself and Jonathan Milan. But the Irish driver was pushing the Honda Integra hard and still managing to stay in touch. Meanwhile, hanging on to the Class 2 cars were the Renault Clios, still locked in a battle of their own. Willie Morrison had sealed pole position on the grid and led the Clios in the early stages of the race, but closing all the time was Ramzi Moutran, whose persistence paid off as he eventually got past the bright red Clio of Morrison. Meanwhile, further down the field, and Konstantinos Anavas had pulled away from his brother Alex, who found himself struggling for pace throughout the race. And so with the checkered flag, it was Ramzi Moutran who took the victory in the CLIO Cup race, less than a second ahead of Willie Morrison, who was chased over the line by Konstantinos Anavas.
I managed to get the overtake on Will at the end of the back straight. I was watching him for 2 laps, just braking a little bit earlier than I would, and I figured that was my opportunity. Dragged him down the whole straight and then got him nice and clean. He just tucked in behind me and we went off to the Hondas.
Some way ahead of them, and Nabil Moutran had managed to keep his lead, if not all of his car, to take the race win, with Kostas Papantonis having to settle for second.
We tried to get through the back markers as quickly as possible. Through the windy bits and in the hotel area, it's you can't really overtake there, so just had to wait until we get onto the straights and then pass properly and safely. But we lost the rear bumper as the race got on, but that's such as racing, I guess.
So on to race 2, and once again it was the two Seats fighting right from the start, with Kostas Papantonis quickest off the line. But behind him and Nabil Moutran wasted no time in making the pass, and from there on, Papantonis was playing a chasing game. Meanwhile, in Class 2, Rupesh Chanaki was again pulling away from Jonathan Milan, with the Irishman being hounded by Ramzi Moutran in his Renault Clio. And it was Moutran who eventually made the pass on the black Honda Integra. Elsewhere at the back of the Clios, and Alexandros Anavas was struggling again for pace, at one point being passed by newcomer Leon Johnson. But the Greek driver just managed to regain his position before the checkered flag at the front, and it was another win in the Clio Cup class for Ramzi Moutran, ahead of Willie Morrison in second and Konstantinos Anavas in third. And wrapping up a great race weekend for the Moutran brothers was Nabil, who took the checkered flag in Class 1 for the second time ahead of rival Kostas Papantonis.
Overall, exactly what we wanted to do, and we're very, very happy with the results. Got dual racing at P1 where we want it to be, and we're going to continue to push for the whole season.
So an action-packed first round of the new NGK UAE Racing Series comes to a close. Still to come on the show, we've got plenty of thrills and spills from round 1 of the UAE Radical Winter Cup, plus action from the opening round of the UAE Sport Bikes. Don't go away.